On your first days in Dune Awakening, you will inevitably make some mistakes. Today I'm here to put a stop to that with 5 easy mistakes you can avoid as you start off life in Arrakis. So, no time to waste, let's get into it. The first mistake? Wasting too much time in Haga Basin South. By that, I mean trying to construct a grand base, build up loads of resources and so on. You do not want to do that in this area. Haga Basin South is the starter zone, but it's also a bit of a trap. The main story will quickly lead you out of the biome, but you will have to drive the best part of 1 kilometre over worm territory to get to the next area, so you don't want to be taking multiple trips and risking getting gobbled by the worm. When you're starting out, don't worry too much about gathering loads and loads of resources. Get what you need to progress, and then move north to the Vermilius Gap when you can, taking as much as you can with you in a single trip. There's almost nothing in the Haga Basin South that can't be farmed further north, so don't put yourself at risk by having to make multiple trips to move resources simply because you spent too much time here. The second mistake? Not farming enough water. This one is pretty easy to rectify. We just have to build a good habit and you'll have more than enough water to go around. Before that, quick shameless self-promo, consider checking out my content over on Patreon, where you can get videos like this early, or just join for free to see video previews and progress logs for the upcoming Settlers Season 4. Plug over, let's continue. In the very early game, you'll craft a blood extractor and blood bags. To make life nice and easy, make sure you always have these items on you. They don't weigh that much, and when you're out, just kill and drain the blood of a few enemies. I think you'll need 6 enemies to fill 2 basic blood bags, and then when you get home, throw that blood into a blood purifier, and away you go. Keep doing this over and over, and you'll always have water being made, meaning you're never stuck with no water and having to gather blood and wait for it to purify in a pinch. This is especially going to be something you'll want to do in the second area, the Vermilius Gap, but that being said, you will also need a lot of water cisterns, though fortunately they are quite cheap. The third easily made mistake is neglecting melee combat. The game has you craft a Mauler pistol very early, and that can feel like the easiest choice to tackle enemies. However, the beginner pistol is, in my opinion, actually pretty bad.
It's obvious you've had some training, off-worlder.
It's super inaccurate with low damage and a high time to kill, so though it feels like an easy choice to simplify the early game, use melee instead. It's usually faster to kill enemies with, but also it's important to learn how melee feels for later on in the game when enemies use shields and you have no choice but to get in close. Mistake number 4 is one I'm guilty of too, and that is not gathering enough intel. Intel points in Dune are used to purchase items in the research menu, and you get some every time you level up, but the best way to get them is to tackle enemy outposts and find the intel point in every one of those. You can see enemy outposts on the map and check if you've collected that intel point yet, and of course you get the bonus of XP from killing the enemies, water from their blood, and any loot in their camp. Having a surplus of intel points is super useful for being able to freely unlock new items and gear, so make sure you're farming up the intel points from outposts, it's well worth your time. The final mistake is not using the survey probe. Dune's map is covered in a fog of war, so logic may say to explore on foot or by vehicle so you can reveal all the map icons. Don't worry about that. Instead, craft a survey probe and one of the relevant ammunition at your fabricator, then take yourself to a high place and fire off the survey probe. You'll learn to create this item in the very early game and it's incredibly useful. Not only does it lift the fog of war, but also immediately marks all points of interest, alongside important features like quicksand or drum sand that will become a big danger in the early mid-game. Whilst this is a beginner tip, it's also relevant throughout the entire game. Make sure one of the first things you do in any new biome is climb something tall and fire off a survey probe, and you'll have far more information to work with, allowing you to beeline straight to camps or caves or dungeons, so you don't waste your time and water running around trying to find everything yourself. To summarise, there are 5 beginner mistakes a lot of people are going to make in Dune Awakening. Wasting time in Haga Basin South, not farming water, neglecting melee, not gathering intel points, and not using the survey probe. I've shown you how to avoid these pitfalls today, and hopefully with this info you'll have a much faster and easier start to the world of Dune, getting you closer and closer to soaring through the skies in an ornithopter, or getting your hands on that ever valuable spice melange. Thank you for watching. I'll be covering Dune right here on this channel alongside Conan Exile, so make sure you subscribe to get the best of both Arrakis and Hyboria, and as always, if you found this video helpful, leave it a like, it always helps the channel out. A massive thanks to our wonderful esteemed coffee cultists for continuing to support the channel over on Patreon. If you want to support the channel here on YouTube and get some exclusive perks, take a look at the new channel memberships available by clicking join just below this video. Take care, and I'll see you soon.